Have you ever looked at someone who started at the same time as you? Same skills, same opportunities, same starting line, and wondered how they ended up so far ahead? Maybe you worked just as hard. Maybe you were even more talented. But somewhere along the way, they pulled ahead and kept going while you found yourself standing still, asking the same question you've been asking for years. Why is nothing changing? If that sounds familiar, this story is for you. Because once there was a man who spent 15 years being almost successful. He had the talent. He had the drive. He had the ideas. What he didn't have, what he didn't understand until a quiet old coach showed him, was the one thing that separates the people who almost make it from the people who do. Stay with me, because what you are about to hear is simpler than you expect and harder than you imagine. Thomas Okafor was 44 years old, and he was tired of almost. He ran a small home renovation business in Charlotte, North Carolina. He had started it at 31 with 2 employees, a second-hand van, and more energy than he knew what to do with. In the early years, the work came steadily. Clients liked him. His craftsmanship was excellent. Word of mouth carried him forward, and for a while, it felt like the business was building itself. But at 44, Thomas had 4 employees, the same 4 he'd had for 6 years. The same van, now older, the same type of clients, the same size jobs, the same revenue he had been making since his late 30s. He had not gone backward, but he had completely stopped going forward. Every January, he set new goals, bigger contracts, a proper office, a second crew. Every December, he sat with the same numbers and told himself next year would be different. The business wasn't failing. That was almost the cruelest part. It was just stuck, suspended at a level that was comfortable enough to stay in, but not fulfilling enough to feel like it meant something. His wife Sandra noticed before he admitted it to himself. One evening over dinner, she said, "Thomas, you used to talk about this business like it was alive. When did you stop talking about it?" He didn't have an answer. What he had, instead, was a long list of reasons why growth hadn't happened. The economy, difficult clients, a bad hiring decision 2 years ago, a contract that fell through at the last minute. Each reason was real. Each reason was also he knew somewhere he didn't like to look, a place to put the blame so he didn't have to examine what he himself had stopped doing. He called Coach Ernie that same night. Ernest Webb was 72 years old, retired, and spent most of his mornings at the Community Recreation Center, where he had coached youth basketball for 31 years. He still showed up 3 times a week, not to coach anymore, but simply because the gym was where he thought most clearly. Thomas had played for Coach Ernie at 17. He hadn't spoken to him in nearly a decade, but some part of him remembered that Ernie had a way of cutting through noise and finding the one true thing underneath it. They met on a Saturday morning. The gym was quiet, just the 2 of them. Squeak of a distant mop on the hallway floor. Morning light coming through high windows. Thomas sat in the bleachers. Ernie sat in a folding chair at the edge of the court, the way he always had during practice. Thomas talked for a long time. The business, the stagnation, the goals that kept resetting, the creeping feeling that his best years might already be behind him. Ernie listened the way he had always listened, completely still, hands folded, eyes steady. When Thomas finished, Ernie was quiet for a moment. Then he said, "How many days last week did you do something, anything, specifically to grow the business? Not maintain it, grow it." Thomas thought about it honestly. 2, he said. Maybe 3. And the week before? Thomas looked at the floor. 1, it was a busy week. Ernie nodded slowly. He stood up from the folding chair, walked to the edge of the court, and picked up a basketball that was sitting near the baseline. He held it out toward Thomas. "You remember Marcus Bell?" he said. Thomas remembered Marcus Bell. He had been the least talented player on their team at 17. Slow, inconsistent shot, not particularly athletic. Nobody, including Thomas, had expected much from him. "He played 4 years of college ball," Ernie said. "Started his junior and senior year. Not Division I, but he played. You know why?" Thomas shook his head. "Because Marcus Bell came to this gym every single day." Ernie bounced the ball once on the hardwood. "Not most days. Not when he felt like it. Every day. Rain, exam week, bad days. Days when nobody else showed up. Every day." He looked at Thomas steadily. "You had twice his talent. You also came to practice when practice was scheduled. Marcus came when there was no practice." "That's the whole story," he said. "That's all it was." They sat back down. Ernie in his folding chair, Thomas in the bleachers, the way it had been 27 years ago. "Thomas," Ernie said, "let me tell you what I learned from 31 years of watching people. Talent is the most overrated thing in the world. Not because it doesn't matter, it does, but because almost everyone you are competing with has talent. Talent gets you into the room. It does not keep you in it." He leaned forward. "What keeps you in the room is showing up to it every single day, whether or not you feel ready, whether or not the conditions are right, whether or not anything happened yesterday to make you believe today will be different." Thomas was quiet. "Here is what happens to most people," Ernie continued. "They show up consistently when things are going well, when there's momentum, when results are visible, when other people are watching and noticing. But the moment results slow down, the moment the feedback stops coming and the growth isn't visible anymore, they pull back. They wait for conditions to improve. They wait to feel motivated again." He shook his head. "And in that gap, in that space where they stopped showing up, someone with less talent and more consistency walked straight past them." He picked up a small notebook from beside his chair. Worn, spiral-bound, the cover soft with age. "I kept records," he said. 31 years of players. I tracked who showed up on the unscheduled days, the optional days, the days when nothing was at stake and no one was watching." He opened it and turned it to face Thomas. Columns of names, dates, tally marks. The players who showed up on those days, not all of them made it, but every player who made it was in these columns, every single one. He closed the notebook. "Consistency," he said, "is not a personality trait. It is not something you either have or don't have. It is a decision, made daily, especially on the days when you don't feel like making it." Thomas stared at the notebook. "So what do I do?" he said. Ernie looked at him with the same expression he had worn at courtside for 3 decades. Calm, direct, not unkind. "You already know what to do," he said. "You've known for years. The question was never what. The question was whether you would do it every day, not just the days it felt worthwhile." He stood up. "Go home. Pick one thing. One specific action that would grow your business. One call, one proposal, one visit, one conversation. Do it tomorrow. Then do it the day after. Then the day after that." He looked Thomas in the eye. "Not for a week. Not until something happens. Every day. For 60 days. And come back here and tell me what you found." Thomas went home and wrote one sentence at the top of a blank page. One growth action. Every day. No exceptions. Day 1. He called a commercial contractor he had been meaning to reach out to for 8 months. The call lasted 6 minutes. Nothing immediate came of it. He marked it done. Day 2. He drove past a large residential development he had noticed going up 3 miles from his office and walked in to ask who was handling the interior fit-out. He was told to send an email. He sent it that evening. Day 3 was a Sunday. He almost let it pass. Then he remembered. No exceptions. He spent 40 minutes updating his company portfolio with photos from recent jobs he had been meaning to add for months. By the end of week 1, he had done 7 things he would previously have described as things he didn't have time for. Week 2 brought the first real resistance. A proposal he had spent 3 evenings preparing came back rejected. He sat with the frustration for an hour. Then he opened his notebook and wrote down the next day's action before he went to sleep. Week 3, something small shifted. The contractor he had called on day 1 rang back, not with a job, but with a question about Thomas's availability for a potential project in the spring. Thomas answered the question and followed up the same afternoon with his portfolio. Week 4, he almost stopped. A family situation pulled his attention for several days, and the habit felt fragile. He did not do his best work during those days. Some actions were small, a 5-minute email, a quick call, but he did not stop. That was the week he understood something Ernie hadn't said directly, but had implied in every word. Consistency is not about quality every day. It is about contact every day. Staying in motion even when the motion is small. Because stopping, even for 3 days, breaks something that takes far longer to rebuild than it did to lose. By week 6, 3 things had happened that he had not arranged or predicted. The contractor called again, this time with a confirmed smaller project, the kind that leads to larger ones. A former client referred him to a property developer who was looking for a reliable renovation partner. And Thomas, going through his portfolio update from week 1, noticed a gap in the services he was offering that 3 recent clients had separately mentioned needing. He built a proposal around it over 2 evenings. He sent it to 4 contacts. 2 responded within a week. 63 days after their first conversation, Thomas walked back into the gym on a Saturday morning. Ernie was in his folding chair at the edge of the court, as if he had not moved. Thomas sat in the bleachers. He told Ernie everything. The 60 days, the days he almost quit, the small actions that had led to things he couldn't have predicted. 2 new contracts, a partnership conversation with the contractor, a service offering he was building that could change the shape of the business entirely. Ernie listened. When Thomas finished, he nodded once. "How did it feel?" he said. "The days when nothing had happened yet and you did it anyway?" Thomas thought about it. "Pointless," he said. "At the time, it felt completely pointless, like I was doing the work and nothing was responding. And now? Now I can see that those were the days that built everything else. The call I made on day 1 didn't pay off until week 6. If I had stopped at week 2, I would have never known." Ernie nodded again. "That," he said, "is the thing nobody tells you about consistency. The results are always delayed, always. The work you do today will not show up today. It will show up in 30 days, or 60, or 6 months. And because people cannot see the connection between the daily action and the eventual result, they stop the daily action and call it failure." He looked at Thomas steadily. "You didn't fail for 15 years, Thomas. You kept restarting instead of continuing. There's a difference." Thomas sat with that for a moment. "Keep the daily action," Ernie said. "Not 60 days. Not until the next contract comes in. Keep it as a permanent practice. The one non-negotiable in your working life. One growth action every day, whether anything is happening or not." He picked up the basketball from beside his chair. and held it out. Marcus Bell shot 500 free throws a day for 2 years, he said, not because any single practice session moved him forward, because 2 years of showing up moved him somewhere nobody could take away. He set the ball down. "You've started," he said. "Don't stop. So my friend, decide now that on those days you will do something small rather than nothing. A 5-minute version of the action, a single email, one call. Motion, however small, is not the same as stopping. And stopping, even briefly, is far more costly than most people understand. 60 days from now, you will not be the same person you are today. If you show up every day between now and then. Not because 60 days is a magic number, but because 60 days of consistent contact with the thing you want to build will show you connections and opportunities that are completely invisible from where you are standing right now. You don't need more talent. You don't need better conditions. You don't need to wait until you feel ready or motivated or certain. You need to show up tomorrow, and the day after, and the day after that. One more day. Always one more day. That is the whole secret. That is all it ever was. Drop a comment right now and tell me, what is the one action you have been putting off that if you did it every day would change everything? Write it in the comments. Make it real. Share this with someone who needs to hear it today. And subscribe, because the next story is already on its way. And it might be exactly what you've been waiting for.